Decades ahead of their time, one group of nurses took care of patients on Staten Island when no one else would.
They're known as the Black Angels, and their stories are as impactful today as they were nearly 100 years ago.
When I came here, I was 16, working as a nurse's aide, and I got my training through Seaview Hospital.
That was in 1947. Virginia Allen left home in Detroit to follow her aunt, who was working as a nurse at the Staten Island Hospital. Seaview opened in 1913, specifically to treat tuberculosis patients, a horrific disease that was killing millions.
I was too young to be sophisticated enough to be afraid.
By 1929, almost all of the white nurses there refused to care for patients. So black nurses were recruited from around the country. These frontline caregivers, about 300 of them, became known as the Black Angels.
This gave them an opportunity to work in a non-segregated environment and to use the skills that they were taught. And that was reason enough to come here.
Allen, now 91, spent 10 years at Seaview and worked on the pediatric ward.
The nurses had to keep daily logs of what was going on the wards.
Maria Smelios is the author of The Black Angels, to be published this fall.
It is page after page of pain and anguish and suffering.
At its peak, there were nearly 2,000 patients in the facility, almost double the intended capacity.
There were many problematic patients who did not want to accept black nurses taking care of them, even though they were critically ill. Some patients didn't want the nurses to take care of them, but the majority of the patients called the nurses their angels. And that was the beginning of the term Black Angels.
Stacy Toussaint is a local historian who includes the story of the Black Angels as part of her Black and Women's History Tours. This is the first time that she's meeting one in person.
To be able to talk to someone who, as far as I'm concerned, is living history, there's no greater honor than that.
The hospital closed its doors as a pandemic facility in 1961. Today, it is a rehabilitation and nursing facility. But the past is still very much alive here. In this surgical pavilion, there are rooms filled with original artifacts from the Black Angels era.
Virginia's an angel, a real-life angel, and really everything we do every day sort of harkens back to her ability and love for taking care of people.
It takes my breath away sometimes to still be here. It's very, very emotional because I'm speaking for many people, not just myself. But I am proud and happy that I am able to do it.
And happy she can still share her story today.
Wow.
Virginia Allen still lives on the grounds in the former nurses' dormitory that has now been converted to senior housing.
Angels indeed. Wow, incredible.
Definitely.
She is fantastic. 91 years old. Unbelievable.